going into this first game between the Bards and Clan on Water Hazard. My name is Urs, and we are going into the second round of today's round robin tournament. First off, for the Bards, we have the Noble Phantasm, a goldfish piloted by Princess Tutu, heavy carronade on the front, flamethrower on the left, banshee on the right. Their ally, the breadcrumbs, piloted by Nana Duckling. It is a Hades Mobula, Hades light flak on the lower deck, dual light carronade flanking either side. Their opponents, Clan. First off, we have the Occam's Razor, piloted by Nietzsche's Mustache. Another heavy carronade goldfish, Gatling on the left, Artemis on the right. And finally, Tux's Revenge, Bocce goldfish, piloted by Steamy Noodle. Gatling on the left and Gatling on the right. Yeah, Hades is definitely going to have to be on point from the breadcrumbs, especially that lower deck Hades that's at a slight angle can be very difficult to hit with. And with two goldfish on the other team, if they manage to bear down on one of these red ships without taking too much in the process, they'll be able to easily get a kill. But it does look like the firepower from the breadcrumbs is coming into effect on the Occam's Razor. We have two whole armor breaks. And that's a light flak, right? Yeah, light flak. Finishing them off, opting to go for that DPS option instead of the Artemis. And now the Tux's Revenge is being forced away. What looked like potentially a pretty good engagement for Clan going bad. That light flak just finishing them off so quickly. Like every one of these that was a light flak hit. Every one of these hull breaks is so dangerous when you have that gun on your ship. Or I guess on the opposing team's ship. Noble Phantasm going to be moving down. Looks like he's going to go for a sneaky balloon break on Tux's Revenge. Not able to knock him down in time to prevent the watch of barrage on their ally, the breadcrumbs, and they might be able to get it. Oh, just barely tapping them for that ram. Breadcrumbs ducking down, trying to dodge as best they can. And this is probably an advantageous situation for blue when you have that dual. Oh, as I say that as the Occam's Razor getting the bad end of the Noble Phantasm here. These two heavy carronade goldfishes. Oh, smash them. Boy. But we might be able to get a trade here with Tux's Revenge going for their own ram kill. The heavy carronade matchups can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Dynamic, mercurial, I suppose. They go back and forth very quickly, depending on who gets the first balloon disable. And then if you're able to get out of range for just a moment, get the balloon disable yourself, you can easily turn the tide in your favor. It's a matter of just locking down the enemy ship and trying to, in very tight, specific positioning to prevent them from returning fire to prevent your own balloon. And that's what you saw there. But what I was saying before that match happened is that the dual goldfish team compositions, typically you want to split up the enemy team because the goldfish is a close range disabling ship, pretty much. You want to get up in their face and you want to harass them. You want to limit their mobility. You want to take control of a situation. You basically want to control a single enemy ship. Because once you have them locked down, it can be very difficult to escape from a balloon lock, from a Hwacha lock. So that's really what Blue Team's going to be aiming to do here. But they do need to be careful because They are going into a 1v1 against an enemy heavy carnage fish for red teams, so the Noble Phantasm can essentially do the same thing for them. We see Hades coming out. Target looks like it's going to be the Occam's Razor. A lot of it going into the balloon. Here's some into the armor. We might have an armor break. Armor break. Light flax coming out. 40% permahull damage. Not too bad. But that does mean the Occam's Razor does get into close range, is able to engage the heavy carronade, take out the breadcrumbs balloon. Oh, and this is bad. This is bad. If he falls against this, he... Ooh, you do not want to get smashed against this terrain, friend. This is a rough spot because these long-range guns on the breadcrumbs are not going to be able to do anything at this close range. Both the Hades and the light flak have pretty severe arming time, so like it's kind of an exercise in futility even firing here. But oh, they finally have managed to move back far enough to use that greased Hades. Doing a little more damage to the Occam's Razor. Noble Phantasm going for a ram, trying to push them back, keep their ally, the breadcrumbs, alive. And finishing off that blue goldfish. Mighty Keb. Did you just make an Occam's Razor joke? God, dude, that's pretty good. I think I'm gonna steal that one. I was gonna play a clip from the developer chat last Friday, but I didn't have time to set it up before the stream. Yeah, what's wrong with the Watcher, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Watcher. What's wrong with the Pyramidion, I think it's in a good spot. It's my game, Occam's Razor moving forward to engage the breadcrumbs. We do have a balloon disable. Mobula extremely vulnerable to balloon harassment here. But Mota, the chain of rams from the Noble Phantasm, totally knocking out the Occam's Razor's arc and doing a ton of damage in the process. The next armor break is going to be the end for that blue goldfish. Man, this light flak is just doing so much. And I also feel like the Nano Duckling is... Sorry, Princess Tutu, not Nano Duckling, excuse me. Nano Duckling is piling the breadcrumbs. Princess Tutu is really outmaneuvering the other the other heavy carronade goldfish. I think they've gotten 3 of the kills here, and they've been winning every 1v1 fight. And already we see them, red team, feeling very confident here, moving in the close range into blue spawn. Clan does have the opportunity to take advantage of this. Noble Phantasm is a little bit of poor positioning. Taking a Watcher barrage that they definitely did not want to. Clan does have the chance to turn this around, but they have to do it here. This is their last chance. Their opponents are on match point, and Breadcrumbs losing their hull armor. This might be their opportunity to turn the tide of the fight, but they need to kill this Mobula. Noble Phantasm coming in for a ram, trying to knock out the Tux's Revenge's hull arcs. That doesn't make sense. Gun arcs. Keeping their allies Breadcrumbs alive. But they've lost their balloon in the process, being forced down, losing their hull armor. Tux's Revenge dropping down, trying desperately to get those downward watch arcs. Noble Phantasm has had the chance to fully rebuild their armor. So at the very least, that will not kill them, but they won't be able to return any fire, losing their guns in the process. Ooh, Breadcrumbs getting ducked down. This is very dangerous. Occam Razor engaging the heavy carronade, knocking out the balloon. This is a very low altitude fight here. Occam's Razor just needs to follow them down. They need to make sure the breadcrumbs is unable to sneak past underneath. And I don't think they're going to be able to. I thought that might have been an exciting, like, slam dunk, but it wasn't. But I do think Occam's Razor, unless he severely screws this up, he's going to be able to get this kill on the breadcrumbs with the heavy carronade. Light carronade coming out from the breadcrumbs. Not doing much. And breadcrumbs actually staying alive for a really long time here. Hydroing up. I mean, if the breadcrumbs can somehow manage to keep this going and not die, they have the potential... No, that's going to be it. The potential for maybe the Noble Phantasm, their ally, to potentially disengage from the Tux's Revenge and come help them, but... Not being the case. It does look like Noble's Phantasm was having a little difficulty with the other blue goldfish, so they are going to retreat, head on southward, and wait for their ally to respawn. And since they were fighting on blue's side of the map, that does mean their ally is going to be spawning fairly far away. So it's a little bit of a trek to get there, but I think he's going to do so safely. Breadcrumbs hydroing up. He wants to get those gun arcs very quickly. Does not want to leave his ally by himself. And with this kind of out in the open, mid to long range positioning from both teams, this does give the breadcrumbs a little bit of time to utilize their Hades. They probably won't be able to do too much permanent damage, because that light flak can be pretty difficult to time properly at these distances. Obviously you want to hit the light flak when the armor is down, not one moment before. And that can be difficult to do. Noble Phantasm has decided to start this fight. He has moved into close range. This is a bold stance that he's taking, considering he's already down to about 40% permahull. And losing his balloon, this is not going so well for him. This has allowed the Tux's Revenge the opportunity to get the close range engagement on the breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs able to duck down, able to dodge most of that Hwacha. And I think he's going to continue to focus the Occam's Razor. Breadcrumbs need to be careful here about losing their balloon, because the only way he can potentially outmaneuver the blue goldfishes at this range is if he utilizes the fast vertical acceleration of the Mobula. And with the breadcrumbs balloon going down, he basically has no mobility. Do you see upwards Hades Arc still targeting the Occam's Razor? Noble Phantasm coming in, taking out their balloon as well, going for a ram. Not too bad, not too bad. But at the same time, his ally, the breadcrumbs, taking a pretty significant Hwacha barrage, losing their balloon, losing a lot of permahull. Oh, this is rough. This is potentially a smash situation. No, Tux's Revenge a little bit off with the ram. Instead, face planting into the mountain. And I think the Noble Phantasm actually might have bumped their ally into one of these bluefish and killed them. I feel like particularly in that last fight, the Noble Phantasm trying to go in ahead of their ally really did not work out well for them. Kind of let the two fish juke around him and then double team the Mobula. And he's still kind of doing the same thing. Like he hasn't retreated. He hasn't tried to disengage. He's keeping the fight going. He's waiting for the blue ships to pass him so he has the chance to knock out the balloons, but he's not able to really do it. Occam's Razor's moonshining forward. He's rising up. I think he wants to try to get a solid connection on the breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs balloon is going down. He is going to fall. And Noble Phantasm's kind of been tailing the blue team here as they pursue the red Mobula, but unable to do much damage. They finally knock out the Occam's Razor's balloon. And the way their position, they might be able to finish them off with a ram. They have taken quite a bit of damage. They are going to glancing blow. And this is unfortunately going to leave them in the Occam's Razor's gun arcs. That's a pretty poor ram. Maybe a little optimistic. Yeah, at the same time, the breadcrumbs and the Tux's Revenge are going at the breadcrumbs. Jukes around, moves forward, trying to get gun arcs on the Occam's Razor, but he does not have turning engines, so this is going to be pretty difficult. Now losing his balloon as well. This is a real bad spot for breadcrumbs. This is a real bad spot for breadcrumbs. He's lost his whole armor. Balloon's still down. Still 2 engines down. Oh, oh no. Oh, look below, breadcrumbs. You don't want to be hitting this stuff on the way down. He does scrap together enough balloon to hydro up, saving himself from death there, but the Noble Phantasm still kind of caught in the thick of it, duking it out with the Occam's Razor. There is a shop vac in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear that on my microphone, but I apologize. Watches coming out. Most of it going into the balloon of the Noble Phantasm. Not a good Hwacha. Noble Phantasm is going to go for a ram here, trying to knock out the gun arcs of the Occam's Razor. Doing a good job maintaining his own as well. A little bit of disruptive flamethrower fire coming out. Balloon on the Occam's Razor going down. Red team is on match point, so if Noble Phantasm can get the kill on the Occam's Razor here, they will take the game. Occam's Razor keeping that drogue shoot out, trying to stay in the air, slow their vertical fall. Oh no, and the Noble Phantasm loses their balloon as well. Oh, this could go either way. Oh boy. Oh, the Tux's Revenge coming in, getting that, finishing them off with a Hwacha. And now with match point for both teams, Breadcrumbs left on their own. Breadcrumbs with no balloon. This is now suddenly what looked like a pretty good game for the Bards is now looking a little bleak. This is a bad spot for the Breadcrumbs to be in. And with 2 fish, we might see the double ram here. Here comes one, bumping him into the terrain. Oh, and he hits that. Oh, and goes down. Clan making a strong comeback. Managing to focus down the Mobula, even in those open air situations where one might think the dual Hades would have more of an advantage. Just able to always get those good close range engagements, able to split off the red team in the way they want and capitalize. Going into second game of this set between the Bards and Clan. Canyon Ambush going to be the map. First off, for the Bards, we have the Blast from the Past, and aptly named Pyramidion, piloted by Princess Tutu. It is, oh God bless this man, it is a Gat Mortar Pyramidion. Banshee Flare Gun on the right side, piloted by Princess Tutu. Their ally, the Breadcrumbs. Triple Hades Mobula, piloted by Nano Duckling. Look at this. Tilt that ship to the right, and you've got a lot of Hades guns. Gat Mortar on the right side for the close range option. Their opponents, Clan. First off, we have the Occam's Razor, piloted by Nietzsche's Mustache. It is a heavy carronade goldfish, left side Gatling gun, right side Artemis. Their ally, the Clan Clake, piloted by Steamy Noodle. This is a more typical Hades dual Artemis mobula, and they also have Gatling and light flak. Already engaging the blast from the past. Given that it's a Pyramidion, it's squishy as hell, already losing its hull armor, taking a lot of balloon damage as well. Looks like Blast is going to Hydro up, going to dodge that. And now Breadcrumbs has moved. Oh, a huge just downward ram smashing the blue Mobula out of nowhere. But we might see Occam's Razor returning the favor here. He's got precious few seconds to do it before the blast from the past engages, but he does manage to take down the Mobulas, and this is why I was a little surprised to see these Mobulas being brought out from these two teams. This is not the best map for a mid to long range Mobula build because either of the fish or the Pyramidion can get very fast ram kills against terrain in the close quarters areas of the map. You have to be extremely careful with your positioning, and given, you know, the Mobula we sometimes see on Canyon is the dual gap mortar exclusive close range mob, which has a lot more close range firepower, but that is not what we're seeing in this game. Now, Blast from the Past, unfortunately, is caught on the wrong side of the map. So Clan Clake does spawn in very quickly and finishes them off, which means a 1-point advantage for Clan at the start of this fight, this game. And the Gap Mortar Pyramidion, or Metamidion as people called it, truly is a blast from the past, back from an age where things were simpler. Right? When everyone ran the same ship, you knew the most skilled team would win. Now we have people running squids. Like, what world are we even living in where squid goldfish is a reasonable team composition? So now we have a full disengagement from that fight. Looks like a red team has decided to potentially hold up in their spawn, or deciding which path they want to take through the canyons. Blue team has taken up camp in center. Looks like they're going to potentially be waiting to ambush them. Clan Cake is surprisingly difficult to pronounce correctly. The Cake has taken a forward position. Looks like he's trying to bait the red team forward while also getting spots. Occam's Razor moving through the canyon. He's going to get a nice flank on the breadcrumbs, but the breadcrumbs will squeeze off a few Hades shots before losing its balloon. And actually quite a bit of damage coming out from that armed light flak. And ooh, Blast from the Past! With a big ram on the fish, finishing them off. Unfortunately, his ally is not in a good spot, and Clan Cake bumping the breadcrumbs downward. He has to get this kill pretty quickly. Like, I think breadcrumbs now getting bumped up. Really anything will kill this red mob. But wow, that's surprising. Unable to get the kill, letting giving Blast from the Past enough time to come back in and save them. I guess the light flak just not. I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest. Just not able to get those light flak arcs. Potentially losing it to the Artemis as well. 3 points on the board for the Bards, 2 for Clan. Breadcrumbs is going to go into the next fight with a lot of damage on them. They have to be extremely careful here. Neither of these ships is particularly are particularly tanky to begin with. So like an ambush from the Occam's Razor can finish either one of them off pretty quickly. Looks like red very slowly going to move along the eastern pass of the canyons. Clan Clay moving through the center. We might see a spot here. It's definitely possible. But no, it does look like red team does manage to get behind these rocks. No visibility for either team yet. And it looks like they're both going to potentially end up in the opposite team's spawn point, so we might have a little bit of downtime before the next fight. Man, Gap Mortar Pyramidion. I used to be a Pyramidion pilot. That was my ship of choice for a very long time. It is a ship you could play very aggressively. Like the Gap Mortar mirror matches were so much about piloting. Like the positioning, the tactical, the strategy of moving around the map in a way that you get the first volley. Predicting enemy movements. You know, skills that I feel like are maybe not necessarily as important now when you have so many more disabling builds. And a lot of these ships that are much faster ships that are much better at disengaging, excuse me, disengaging if a fight goes poorly. Like with the Pyramidion, it was kind of all or nothing. Once you were committed, you're committed. Man, Pyramidion mirror matches is so much fun. But with the rise of the Mobula, well, really, I guess it started with the Junker. The Junker being a ship with a lot more close-range firepower, a lot tankier, a lot more close-range mobility, really kind of pushed the Pyramidion back a bit. Like, Pyramidion, in the early days of the competitive game, super dominant. But then the Junker, we saw teams moving to a lot more long-range play. The Hades double Artemis can kill a Pyramidion very quickly. And the fast close-range mobility of the Junker able to kind of strafe around the Pyramidion, stay out of their gun arcs. You know, teams like the Sky Invading Rhinos and probably most famously the Mandarins utilizing the double Junker team composition to great effect. And then once people started moving away from the Junker to the Mobula, it was kind of the same thing. Like, the Mobula has so much firepower, so many forward-facing guns. And the Pyramidion was never really the tankiest ship, so... Even before the February, the Black Tuesday, as we call it, before the huge nerf, like, the Pyramidion wasn't even that popular in competitive play. But with the nerfs of February 2015, that secured the Pyramidion's place as a relic. And we rarely, if ever, see it in competitive play. And what is the Blast from the Past doing? Oh my god. Breadcrumbs is nowhere to be found. Oh no, oh god. Why would you even do... God. I mean, that's the thing about the Gap Mortar Pyramidion, right? Once you commit, you commit. You're all in. And not even a scratch on the clan cake from that ram. Here's another pro tip. If you have no hull armor and the target has full armor, it's not a good idea to ram them. Will not go well for you. Don't do it. And Nano Duckling's just given up on life. He's trying to... No. He's trying to stay low. He doesn't. Oh, he's potentially going to get an ambush. Occam's Razor might not know he's here. Staying extremely low. He's hydroing up, but not actually not hydroing up quite enough. Oh, they're gonna no. Blast from the pass, angle a little off, missing the Occam's Razor. But they might be able to get an even engagement with the Clan Cake. Unfortunately, the Hades from the Blast from the Pass is going to take down their whole armor before the fight starts, and even backing into the terrain for the bonus rub-ins. Like, this is the problem with the Pyramidion Mobula matchup. The Mobula just has so much firepower, it has so much more range. The Pyramidion needs a complete ambush. It needs all the surprise factor to get an advantageous fight on a mob. It's very hard to do, and now with their ally going down, Clan Cake might be able to finish off this breadcrumbs, and I think they're going to. And suddenly we have a match up for both teams. And with the Blast from the Past having no HP, he's going to go for a ram, but it's not going to work. Or maybe he has just enough hull armor to stay alive. No. No. No, I'm sorry. It hurts me greatly, but Pyramidion, you have to stay in the past where you belong. I'm sorry. There's no place for you in this new age. Very close, despite that, very close game. 5-4 to Clan.